Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here at Mad About Skin, we're passionate about helping you to get the most out of your skincare. So if you haven't already, now's a fantastic time to click that link below, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and you won't miss out on any of our amazing future content. Now, in today's video, we've got another version of our battle of the brands. In this series, we put two brands, usually drugstore brands, against each other, and we work out which is the best and which you need to invest in for your skincare routine. We break it down by each step in the skincare routine, so we give a fair and honest assessment of both brands, and hopefully you might discover a few new products that sit beneath these brands as we go along. Now, if you haven't watched any of these before, we've done the Ordinary versus the Inkey list, we did Naturium versus the Ordinary, and today we're going to be looking at two of your guys' favourite brands, the ones you mention most of all, and that is Paula's Choice versus the Ordinary. A firm favourite of mine in the Ordinary, and a brand, Paula's Choice being a brand I recently reviewed. I will leave a link to a full review of every product up there in case you do want to check it out for yourself. I have also done a whole video on the Ordinary, so I'll link again up there. So I think, having explored both these brands extensively, this is going to be a really fair assessment of putting them against one another. The price points of both are slightly different. We'll start with the things that they have in common. So both brands try to limit the amount of fragrance and colour in their products, which is absolutely fantastic if you have sensitive skin or just trying to avoid added fragrance and colorants in your skincare routine. They're also both cruelty free, which is a ding 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 win-win-win for me from the outset. I think in 2020 we need to limit the amount of animal testing we do. It's not really essential in skincare and in cosmetics, so it's about time companies owned up and started to look at other alternatives. So big props to both of these companies for being cruelty free. In terms of the price point, the Ordinary is much cheaper than Paula's Choice. Paula's Choice used to be a reasonably drugstore brand. They did a whole rebranding about 4 years ago, and as a result, the prices did go up. They've introduced some new products as well, which tend to be on the pricier side. So the price isn't directly comparable, but I will be going through the individual prices as we go along, and we will be taking that into account as we do this review. In our previous videos, I'm not going to tell you the outcome of the previous battle of the brands. You'll have to look at that for yourself. I don't want to spoiler or give you any spoilers or hints as to who might have won that. But I think today is going to be a reasonably close battle. So let's get straight into it. And we'll start at the beginning of our skincare routine, which is going to be the cleansers. The Ordinary are keeping it super simple. They have just one cleanser, which is their Squarlane cleanser, available here in the UK for £5, in the US $7.50. So a really good, basic, drugstore priced cleanser. Paula's Choice, on the other hand, you have a lot of choice. It's in the name and you have a lot of choice to choose from. They have 13 different cleansers. All of them tend to be around the £20, $25 price point. So a little bit more expensive, but certainly a whole lot of choice more. So with the Ordinary, I adore the Squarelane cleanser. What I look for in a cleanser is something which goes on as an oil or turns into an oil. That allows you to do a facial massage. I love to do a facial massage. It's one of the key ways of anti-aging. It gets the lymphatic drainage moving. It really just helps with puffiness that you might get around the sinuses and the eyes. I love a facial massage. I did a whole video on facial massaging, which I'll link up there. So I want something with a slip and with a texture that allows you to use it as a massage tool. I also want something that washes out without a trace, because I don't want a cleanser sitting on my skin and almost acting like a mask or a barrier, preventing the rest of the skincare which follows from really getting in and doing the work I want it to do. So those are sort of the two criteria. So the Ordinary fills that to a T. It's drugstore priced. The texture is fantastic. It's slippery, it slides, it's great for a facial massage, and if you wash it off with a bit of lukewarm water, there's no trace left. I think it works enough on its own. I don't think you need to do a double cleanse with it, and it's really just a fantastic cleanser. In terms of Paula's Choice, the only one I've actually used of theirs is the oil reducing cleanser, which I'll leave an image of it there. This was a really good product. I love this. It has a few more active ingredients in than the Ordinary, and it did help keep me matte. I didn't repurchase it because I don't particularly like active ingredients in my cleansers. I like to add those in after my skincare routine, but this is a fantastic cleanser for people with oily skin. You guys also went mad underneath. If you read the comments in my Paula's Choice video, you guys went mad for the softening cream cleanser. This is very hydrating. I did a sample and it felt great on the skin. Very hydrating. Too hydrating for me, someone with oily skin, but if you have dry skin, this could be absolutely fantastic. So in terms of how we're going to rate this, personally, I'm going to give this first round as a score draw. That is a total cop-out, but I think you've just got two different levels of product here. You've got the basic, the simple, and the fantastically priced Ordinary, which everybody can get on board with and is suitable for everyone. And you've got the more tailored skincare line with Paula's Choice. They give you the choice and you can pick a cleanser that's right for your skin type. I think it's great that they have the choice, but I love the simplicity of the Ordinary. So I'm going to give it a score draw. We're off to a 1-1, 1-all start to the competition. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to exfoliators, another key step in your skincare routine. I love a good exfoliator. I like to mix and match my exfoliating acids. I don't use a manual exfoliator. I love to just use chemical exfoliators. I like to mix it up depending on what my skin needs at the time. I've done a whole suite of videos on acids in skincare, so do check that playlist out, which I'll link up there. But in terms of these two brands, I'd say, and I said this in my Paula's Choice video, that Paula's Choice, one of their, I think the best elements of their skincare range is their exfoliators, and the same goes for the Ordinary. So this is really quite a difficult one to judge. So batting for Paula's Choice, I think their star product is their BHA exfoliating liquid. I love that. It's a cult product. People adore it. 2% salicylic acid. It's also quite moisturizing at the same time as being a fantastic oil absorbing, pore unclogging BHA salicylic acid exfoliator. I love this product. Little appearance of a cat in the background, so if you say hi to Leo, who's my Singaporer, he'll just be lurking in the background doing his thing. They also do have an azelaic acid booster, which I love, and they do a whole range of glycolic acid based products. So you get a really good range of exfoliators here, and they're all really good strength, well formulated. The prices are much more expensive than the Ordinary, as again, I think that's going to be a recurring theme here in this review, and they tend to be in the $25 to $48 category. So it depends on the product you get, but a reasonably higher price point. For the Ordinary, well, you've got so much choice here. You've got the 7% toning solution, which is a beautiful daily glycolic acid. They've got a lactic acid, a really simple lactic acid, which is great if you have slightly drier skin because larger molecule size and also hydrating as an exfoliating acid. Love the lactic acid. So they do a 5% and a 10%, which is amazing. They have an azelaic acid like the Paula's Choice do. They've got mandelic acid. It's fantastic. The one thing they're missing is a really good daily BHA serum. They've got a mask, but it's not quite the same as the serum, so I do think they're missing out on the BHA serum. Overall, well, my exfoliating acids all come from the Ordinary. That's just because I like cheap, I like simple, and I like effective, and you get that with the Ordinary. I do think with the Paula's Choice, the formulations are a bit more innovative, and you get a little bit more for your money, so I do think they're worth the extra price point. So I'm not really going to compare on price. However, for me, the Ordinary just pips this one, and for one simple reason only, and that is they have a larger range of exfoliating acids. They have a mandelic acid, which a standalone mandelic acid, which the Paula's Choice range doesn't. They've also got standalone lactic acid, which again Paula's Choice doesn't have. Those are two really good gentle exfoliators which can suit drier and more sensitive skin types, and I think that's missing from the Paula's Choice line, which is why very, very close, but I'm going to give this to the Ordinary. So it's 2-1 to the Ordinary. Now we're going to move on to what I think is the most important active in our skincare routine, and that is retinol. Anyone that's watched this channel before knows I adore retinol. I think it's a fantastic addition. It's the only ingredient which is clinically proven to reverse the signs of aging. It's essential in everyone's skincare routine. And even if you're super sensitive, there is a retinol out there for you. You just need to choose the right one. And you've got a lot of choice with these brands. So contrary to what you normally get, where we've had loads of choice from Paula's Choice and a very little choice from the Ordinary, it's kind of a role reversal in this. The Ordinary has 7 types of retinol, all of them terrible, and the Paula's Choice has 2 different retinols. My issue with the Ordinary retinols is none of them really sink in, and they're cheap, they're effective, the strengths are good, but none of them sink in, go well with my skin. You put them on in the evening, you wake up, it stains your pillow, it doesn't really sink in, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't gel with my skin type. I thought it was just my skin that didn't work. However, I know a lot of you guys are giving me feedback and a lot of friends are giving me feedback, it's the same thing. The texture doesn't really work. Now there are some workarounds to that. If you want to you want to use an Ordinary retinol and you do want to keep the price point that you like, you can always combine it with a moisturizer, and that was a top tip given to us by a subscriber, and that does work to counter some of the issues around the texture and it not sinking in. However, if you don't mind spending the extra money, the Paula's Choice one is beautiful. They do a super strength 1% retinol. It's pure retinol, so we're not talking about some of the granactives, some of the encapsulated. We are talking a pure retinol product here, so it's super strength and you will get the result. results. You do also get some side effects with it because it is quite strong, but you get the results and it's a beautiful product. It's formulated with hydrators as well, so it will limit some of the side effects you're going to get, but it's not going to eliminate them entirely. It's £48, whereas the ordinary ones are in the region of about £8. However, this is a hands down win for Paula's Choice. I love their retinols, and I think if you're experienced with retinols and you want a really strong retinol to just really get those results, rid of those fine lines, get rid of some of that aging, reverse the signs of that photo aging, Paula's Choice should be your first stop, and I love it. It's worth the £48 price point, which is about the $55, $60 price point. It's worth it because the product will last about 2 months, so you're getting a good amount of product for that, and it is a sensational product. They do one in a normal serum and they do one of their booster range. They're both reasonably similar price points and they're fantastic. So this is hands down, ding, 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 win, win, win for Paula's Choice. So we're 2-all. It is kind of close. It's what I expected. They're two fantastic brands. I'm not surprised, but retinols, giving it straight to Paula's Choice. Now I'm going to move on to what I guess we call the hydrators. These are like the humectants and the hydrating elements. The ordinary, you have the marine hyaluronics, which is a gorgeous product. It takes marine algae and it's a form of hyaluronic acid, which is marine derived. It sinks in like that. It moisturizes like there's no other. It's a beautiful, beautiful product, and it layers really well with other serums you want to put on top. They also have the standard hyaluronic acid with vitamin B5. Don't like this at all. It doesn't really allow you to layer. I think the marine hyaluronics is the way forward. I wouldn't personally bother with their normal hyaluronic acid. It just didn't work for me, didn't sink in, and it pilled and peeled when you put other products on top. Paula's Choice have that. Both of those, by the way, are around the £6 to £7 price points, so under $10. Paula's Choice have two. They have the hyaluronic booster, £34, and they have the peptide booster, £40. I'm going to be totally honest with this skin step. I don't like either. I just don't think, I like the marine hyaluronics. I do think that's good, but I think there's other things which are slightly better than it. The Paula's Choice work and they're fine. They're absolutely fine products, but they're just way, way overpriced for a humectant. I don't think you need to be paying more than $10 for your hyaluronic acid. The Inkey List is beautiful. That's really good. If you're going to be paying Paula's Choice prices, you might as well get the Neod Multimolecular Hyaluronic Complex, which is game-changing, earth-shatteringly amazing, and is only like £6 more. So I don't think either of them are going to be getting points for this. I think they serve a purpose, and if you want to buy from an entire skincare routine from just one brand, you could definitely dip into those. I think the marine hyaluronics on the ordinary side is better than the hyaluronic acid, and I think the peptide booster is better than the hyaluronic acid on the Paula's Choice side. So you definitely can get a humectant from this line. Just for me, I think they're beaten by other brands, so I'm not giving either a point for this. That might seem harsh, and we're supposed to be comparing these two, not to other brands, but you know what, I wouldn't be spending my money on either of these. I would definitely look elsewhere. The Inkey List is fantastic, and there's some brilliant other hyaluronic acids out there. Invest your money elsewhere and you definitely won't regret it. Now let's just cover the other actives, because obviously we've covered the main things in your skincare routine, but there's lots of other actives out there that you might want to include in your skincare routine. Obvious ones are like vitamin C's, and I think for me the vitamin C range in the ordinary is baffling but fantastic. So I've done a sort of like a breakdown of how to work out which vitamin C from the ordinary is right for you, which I'll link up there, because I think it's really important you get the right one if you're going to use the ordinary. My go-to is the L-ascorbic acid powder, which is beautiful. Vitamin C degrades really quickly, particularly if it's in water. It's not a particularly stable molecule, so having it anhydrous in a powder form is a fantastic way. Mix it with your moisturizer. You can either have it super strength, use it as a mask, or you can use it a bit more sparingly and have it as a daily treatment. I love it. It's flexible, it's easy to use, you can mix it to the right strength, and it's cheap. It is £4.50 here in the UK, $6 in the US. Beautiful price point, beautiful product. I really like it. There's not much out there that's similar to it, so it's game changing, and I just think it's fantastic. Over at the Paula's Choice, you actually only have one. There are, just for the record, with the ordinary, about 8 other vitamin C's. They are all good, and you need to work out which one you want from you. Watch that video and work out the one that's right for you, but they are all good, and they're all under $10. Paula's Choice do just one, which is a vitamin C booster at £46. This one is fantastic. It's encapsulated, so you won't get quite the same amount of irritation from it, which is great. It's a mid-strength it's either 13 or 15%, I can't remember, but it's a mid-strength vitamin C. It works. I've used it. I like the texture. It sinks in. It allows you to put products on top of it, which is really good. It's a powerful antioxidant, and it's a beautiful skin brightening agent. So definitely works, and I think this is a theme with Paula's Choice. All of the products do work. I just think it's a little bit expensive to be paying for a vitamin C when you can get really the same from the Ordinary at an absolute fraction of the cost. So this one is going to the Ordinary because I like the fact they have a range. It might be difficult to understand, but once you get your head around it, the Ordinary have a range of vitamin C's for you to choose from to suit your skin type and what you want to get out of it, whereas the Paula's Choice just have a vitamin C. I also think the price point is more accessible from the Ordinary, and I don't think vitamin C is something you need to pay a lot of money for. So this one's going to the Ordinary, and we are 3-2 to the Ordinary. So moving on to another active, which I think we all love, and we kind of discovered together about 3 years ago and have gone mad for, and that's niacinamide. I love it in my skincare routine. It's fantastic for people like me who have oily, breakout prone skin because it'll help even the sebum production in the skin, help with some cellular turnover, and just brighten the skin a little bit and remove some of that pigmentation that acne can leave behind. I love it as an ingredient. I tend to prefer a 5% niacinamide. I think you get less downtime, less redness, irritation, or risk of irritation. It suits more skin types, and I don't think you need to push it to a 10. Both these lines have a 10% niacinamide. The Ordinary has zinc added in, but the Paula's Choice also do a 20% niacinamide. Let's write off the 20%, that's way too strong, nobody needs that in their life. So we're comparing a 10% niacinamide with zinc and a 10% niacinamide without zinc. To me, again, this is a bit of a score draw. I don't really think there's much to differentiate between the two, and I think there's some great 5% niacinamides out there, which I would personally invest your money in if you're looking for a niacinamide. Both of these products are good. The Ordinary one, I think, is about £6. The Paula's Choice one, obviously, is a little bit more, well, it's quite a bit more expensive. It's £41. So, again, but it's better formulated and there's some hydrators in there as well. It's personal preference. I'm going to give this a score draw because to me, I actually shop elsewhere for my niacinamide. I prefer a 5% rather than a 10%, and I wouldn't even go near the 20%. I don't know what Paula's Choice were thinking of with that particular strength. Obviously, there's a market for it and it's probably beautifully formulated, but it's not for me. It's the wrong strength, and I think you can get the same effect over a longer period of time without some of the irritation that could come with that. So we're sticking at 3-2 to the Ordinary. I think this is a score draw, and I would shop elsewhere for my niacinamides personally, but that's personal preference. Now we sort of getting to the end of our skincare routine. If you've bought all of these, you have a gorgeous skincare routine ready and set and go. But now you need to add in a moisturizer and your SPF to just seal the deal and protect your skin for the day. Now, for the moisturizers, we have, for the Ordinary, we have the natural moisturizing factors plus hyaluronic acid, £4.50 in the UK, $6 in the US. The most basic of moisturizers. Just what it says on the tin, it hydrates and it locks in all that skincare that you've done. It won't do anything else, and it doesn't promise to do anything else. For Paula's Choice, you have 10 to choose from. Now, I like choice. I love choice in skincare. I'm a big advocate of consumer choice, and Paula's Choice give you this in droves. How many times can I say choice in one sentence? But they give you it in droves. So you've got 10 to choose from. All of them have an SPF built in. So I think this is a little bit, I think it's a good for some people because I do think everyone should have an SPF, and including it with your moisturizer is a great way of cutting out a step in your skincare routine. However, I'm one that likes to choose my own SPF. I like to chop and change my SPF and choose one that's right for me. So I kind of prefer the Ordinary, which doesn't have that added in. The Paula's Choice are all beautifully formulated. They're around the £20 to £25 mark, so around $30, and they all have SPF 30 as a minimum added into them, which is fantastic. So you don't necessarily need an SPF in it already. Separate to it, you've got it there in your moisturizer. With the SPF separately, the Ordinary do their own mineral SPF, which I just did not like. It's ashy, it itches, it doesn't sink into the skin in any meaningful way. It just sits there like a layer, and I just really didn't like it. They also do a SPF 15, which I don't agree with because I think minimum is an SPF 30. I don't know why we're bothering with an SPF 15 when you should be wearing a 30 as a minimum, and the Ordinary know that. They shouldn't be putting out a 30. And I just really didn't like it. It didn't go with my skin. I lent it to friends to try, and they also didn't like it. I don't think the SPF from the Ordinary is really that good. I think from Paula's Choice, they don't really have a standalone SPF. They do have the Resist Anti-Aging Super Light Moisturiser, which I think is my favourite of their moisturisers come SPF. It's £30 here in the UK, $35, and I think it's a really nice lightweight SPF with moisturiser that's going to protect the skin, do everything it needs to do, and just hydrate. I'm actually going to give this one to Paula's Choice because I think, yes, you don't always need an SPF. You might want to choose one separately, and I do, which is why I go for the Ordinary, but I just love this product. I think it's really nice. I think it's lightweight, and I think it means you can cut out a step in your skincare routine. Who doesn't want that? That does kind of mean we're 3-all. That might feel like a cop-out, but I think actually I'm not surprised. Both beautiful skincare lines. I love both of them. I think they're equally as good. It depends on your price point. If you're super cost conscious and maybe your purse doesn't stretch to, you know, quite expensive products, The Ordinary is going to see you fine and you can get a full skincare routine from The Ordinary. If you don't mind spending a little bit extra and you want a little bit extra, I think Paula's Choice is a fantastic option. Of course, you could go half and half. You could mix and match. You could go for the cleanser from Paula's Choice. You can go from the exfoliator from The Ordinary. You can go for a retinol from Paula's Choice. You mix and match. And hopefully this video has allowed you to do that. Let me know in the comments below. Are you team Paula's Choice? Are you team The Ordinary? I've kind of hedged my bets, I feel here. And I didn't work this out before I did this. I haven't actually got any scores or anything. This is just off the top of my head. So the scoring is natural and I didn't really want it to come out as an even because I like to take a side, but here we are. Both two fantastic products. Let me know what your go-to is and which are your favourite products from these lines. Leave me a comment below and I'd love to hear what your favourites are. Hopefully you'll love this video and you'll give it a thumbs up. Follow us over on Instagram @SkinMad, and wherever you are in the world, I'm sending you a big love from here in the UK. Take care. Bye.